I no longer remember how long I've been here. Several years, I reckon. Time started passing differently from the moment I got trapped in this place. Sometimes, without realizing it, I fall asleep. And even though I can no longer move my body, my mind is still restless. Nobody ever comes into the old store I'm in. Every day, I only see dust and old furniture breaking down. Everything is so lonely. Especially since my dear friend is no longer with me. We had a mirror in front of us and we could see each other through it. But they took her away. Now all I can do is remember the past and go back to her in my memories. The first time I saw her, I was impressed by her beauty. She was the most beautiful girl I had ever seen. Her golden hair was perfectly arranged in 2 ponytails, and she always wore beautiful dresses adorned with laces and pastel colors. And to be honest, I was envious of her. It had been years since I got a new dress. I was still a girl after all, and I loved it whenever they bought me new clothes and new patent leather shoes. Her name was Adelaida, and she didn't stand out just for her beauty. She was also a very sweet girl, and a whirlwind of joy at the same time. The first time she went into the back room of the store, her blue eyes saw mine. I think it was love at first sight, and she immediately grabbed me. "She's so beautiful," said Adelaida as she laughed. "Can I take this doll home, miss?" In that moment, the old woman appeared, the owner of the store. She looked worried and told Adelaida, "What are you doing here? Customers are not allowed in the back room. I'm sorry, but that one is not for sale." The girl seemed about to cry, and so the old lady changed the tone of her voice and started speaking to her in a sweeter tone. "Listen, if you want, you can come back some other day and I'll let you play with it, okay?" Adelaida's eyes sparkled with excitement and carefully placed me back on the shelf. For now, I was alone once more in this sad corner. I kept getting covered in dust while the old woman made more dolls. Then, a few days later, I heard how the door was opened slowly. And suddenly, I saw her again. Adelaida grabbed me in her arms and started playing with me. She treated me very well. We pretended that I was her daughter and that she was my mother. And let me tell you, she was the best mother I could have dreamed of. The old woman then started letting Adelaida come more often to see me. We both felt so happy. We would play for hours and then she would have to go back home. Every time I would eagerly wait for the next afternoon she would come play with me. And that's when I started to think about how wonderful it would be if we were together forever. Then one day, Adelaida and the old woman came into the back room. She was especially happy today. "Will you really make me a doll, miss? For me?" "Yes, I will, Adelaida. And believe me, she will be the most beautiful doll of all." Panic invaded me. In her innocence, Adelaida laughed gleefully as she approached me. Clueless about what was about to happen to her, she would have to endure the same nightmare I did so many years ago. The old woman approached Adelaida from behind and placed a handkerchief on her face, making her fall unconscious immediately. She then took off all her clothes and placed her body on her workbench. She painstakingly cut every part of her. The arms, the legs, and the head. She stuck them up carefully, making sure not to damage Adelaida's skin. Then she put the pieces in big flasks filled with a foul-smelling yellowish liquid. I remember perfectly when she did it to me. The first days are the worst, when you're alive in those flasks, but you cannot move. That old woman is great at what she does. She's a very powerful witch who has mastered the art of trapping the soul in a dead body. And that's to be expected. That's her business after all. She has an entire store filled with perfect, precious dolls. But the cream of the crop remain here in the back room. We are her treasures. That is, until she gets bored of us and then discards us. Many days passed and my friend was still in those foul flasks. Her body parts were shrinking and hardening until her skin seemed to be made of porcelain. And once they were of the desired size and texture, the witch opened the flasks and started washing and joining together the parts of her new doll. It looked so beautiful. Adelaida still conserved her same sweet face. The witch put a Victorian maroon-colored dress on her and then said to me, "She's precious, don't you think, darling? Now your friend will always be by your side." She then placed Adelaida on the shelf right next to me, and I could see her through the mirror in front of us. Her blue crystal eyes showed that she was still alive. She wasn't lost in the monotony of existence yet. When it happened to me, I also thought that all of this was just a nightmare. But over time, she also got used to the monotony of sitting still in that old and dirty place. The two of us witnessed in silence how the witch kept on making new dolls. They were true works of art, although none of them perfect enough to join us on the back room shelf. Over the years, the witch became more clumsy at her craft. Her dolls no longer ended up as beautiful as before, so she would end up burning most of them in her fireplace. And one night, just before heading out of the store, she grabbed Adelaida and said to me, "I'm too old for this now." And she never came back, neither her nor my dear friend Adelaida. And now I'm completely alone, unable to do anything but seeing eternity pass in front of my crystal eyes. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more Draw My Life horror videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode.